So they're very standard textbook diagrams or internet diagrams that students can use to learn cellular respiration. And they show the cell and they show the different stages of cellular respiration. They show what happens in the cytoplasm. They show the stages that move into the powerhouse of the cell, which is called the mitochondrion. And we would definitely want students to work with these kinds of diagrams. They're great diagrams. They give students a good impression of the basics of the process. But it's not until you ask them to do something with a diagram like this, and that can be done through the energy diagram, that is the point where they really start to learn the process, where they really start to understand the underlying ideas that are happening, which is all about energy transfers and energy conservation. The energy diagram is very adaptable, so we can start out by looking at the big picture where we would say energy in food gets converted to energy currency in the form of ATP. And then we can move on and break down the process into its individual components and really zoom in on those ideas with the energy diagram too. Energy diagrams can then be used to look at a more specific part of cellular respiration. So one of the big things that happens in the process of cellular respiration is that energy is transferred from the initial sugars from the diet, the glucose. It's pulled from them and transferred to these molecules that are considered shuttling molecules. These molecules are called NADH and FADH2. They accept energy from the sugars in the process, and they transfer that energy to the final stage of the process, which is the electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylation. That transfer requires a lot of changes, and one of the changes in terms of energy is that we build up an energy gradient across a membrane. And that is hard for students to understand, but the energy diagram allows us to show that this is a gradient energy that gets transferred from our shuttling molecules to form a gradient, and then that gradient will fuel our main enzyme that makes our energy currency ATP and comes out of the process. We have an isolated system. We show reactants and products that are not big energy storage molecules, and we try to keep those out of the arrows so that students can really focus on the key parts of the process and what we're trying to use and what we're trying to make.